All the things that have given me the shits at other tracks won't happen here.
You've all been asking for information on the Revamp Speedway here in Sydney, and in this video, I finally got some info for you. Now, unless you live under a rock, you'd know that there's been plenty going on with Sydney International Speedway. Pretty much everything but racing, the bit we want. But after almost a year, the track will see racing again very soon. The problem is that until now, we haven't really heard much come from the operators themselves. I met track manager Garry Willmington at the venue recently to get answers. We spoke about some generic background info, found out what competitors can expect from the new management, and of course, I made sure to ask about the anticipated fan experience. I know that I've been both supportive and critical of the venue, so I wanted to begin with having Garry tell us his story, starting with his raceway management background and telling us who is part of his promotional team.
Over 20 years of experience of running motorsports facilities.
What facilities?
Wakefield Park down at Goulburn. I ran that for like 10 years. And my own circuit that I had at Marulan, which is now the Pheasant Wood circuit, I built and ran that also.
Who is part of your promotional team and what are their roles?
Well, promotional team, we haven't done a lot of promotional stuff at all yet.
Yep.
So that's sort of something we're just starting to work on. Our main concentration at the moment has been on the track.
Obviously, it's not just yourself that's part of your team. There's your son, Braden. I know Marty Perovich has been working on the track. Who else has been helping you out here at Sydney Speedway, and what are their roles?
Yeah, well, mainly myself and Braden, and Marty with the grader has been flat out with the grader. Ash Anthony's been helping us a bit around the place, and Yvonne has been doing a lot of work around the actual place. But yeah, that we're the main ones that are sort of doing everything at the moment.
How has it been working with the government and Sydney Dragway?
It's been fantastic. The Dragway has been unbelievable to work with, and the government have been really good to work with. I can't believe how good they've been to work with.
Obviously, you had a practice night just a couple of weeks ago. What was learnt from the practice night?
We learned a lot. It was the whole idea of the practice night was to just get familiar with all of the people and let the competitors have a chance to have a run around the track and try it, and just try and get everything working again, get the cobwebs off everything.
What has been fixed since the Speedway last ran? Obviously, I know there was lighting issues, there was drainage issues. The Speedway hasn't run for close to a year now. What's happened at the facility since?
The drainage has all been totally redone since then. We've been around and checked all the lighting. Everything's working now. Everything's been brought up to scratch with the lighting. Yeah, no, there's been a lot of work. The government's sent people out here non-stop, just making sure that everything's operational.
Obviously, there's a bit of difficulty with the parking, with competitors coming into the pits in the afternoon of a race meeting, and also the general admission parking. What's your plan with that side of things?
Well, the plan with that is that we open the pit gates at 10 o'clock in the morning, and any competitor that's coming from interstate or whatever can get in from 10 o'clock and park their trucks up and not have a problem. Spectator gates, sort of between 1 and 2, will open up, and then if people want to get here a little bit earlier, they can. But we will definitely not be lining trucks up out onto the road.
Will you be working with other venues to ensure that your dates don't collide and things like that?
Absolutely, we'll be working with Sydney Motorsport Park. We already are working with them, and with the drags to make sure that we don't clash big events.
What are your concerns going forward with the facility?
Absolutely none. Just the concerns are more with just ourselves making sure that we've got everything right and we haven't forgotten anything, and just continually going over all the different details to make sure that we don't fail with it. I have no doubts about the facility.
How do you, if you at all, compare the way you're going to run a facility like the previous management? How will your approach differ from what they've done in the past?
Well, I got no problem at all with the past management because we come and we watched a lot of the previous events here and never had a problem with them at all. Got on quite well with them. But our approach will be totally different because I'm used to running road racing circuits and I've been going to the Speedway since Liverpool Speedway started. And I've been to a lot of Speedway events in my life, and I'm just going to ensure at this place, no matter what happens, all the things that have given me the shits at other tracks won't happen here.
Yeah.
Because I believe in family orientated, fans and spectators coming in, having fun, an enjoyable night, and the same for the competitors, that they can come here, enjoy their night, and just, you know, chill out and relax and not be stressed about parking in the wrong spot or doing this or not be allowed to bring this in or not be allowed to bring that in. Just try and keep it relaxed. There's always been my approach at every other track and it's worked.
You want people to enjoy Speedway?
Absolutely want them to enjoy it. I want to grow it, you know. There's no reason why Speedway can't be as big as V8 Supercars or bigger.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I love Speedway and I always have loved Speedway.
Speaking of growing the sport as a whole, what other events do you have for the facility? I know that's probably a bit down the track, but do you have plans for bigger events, say, come next season?
We've got lots of plans and the big picture is very big. But as I keep saying to people at the moment, we've got a bit of clay out there that's called a Speedway.
Yeah.
And I'm going to concentrate on getting that Speedway 100%. As soon as we've got that 100%, and sprint cars can run all night and we're not doing track prep all night through the night, and we're not dusting the crowd, and we're not doing things that give people the shits. If we can get it right, then watch this space. There'll be heaps of things. We're going to do a lot of work with juniors to bring new people into the sport, and my aim, big time, will be to bring new people into the sport of Speedway.
Obviously there's been a lot of chatter over the last couple of months, obviously from radio shows and even myself with our Sprint Car Hub YouTube channel about the ownership of the Speedway. Has that been a distraction for you, and do you feel like that's not an issue for you guys? Where are you at with all of that?
It's not a distraction at all for me because I don't get too involved with going onto Facebook and spending hours going through things. You know, some people might knock me for it, but I work 7 days a week. I work from 14 to 15 hours a day, and I just concentrate on the job that I've got to do and make it happen, you know. My entire life I've made things happen, and I'm going to make this place happen.
You certainly can't knock Garry's passion and desire to see the sport reach its full potential, particularly here in Sydney and beyond. But the entire industry here in Sydney has been deprived of not just high quality speedway, but just any racing at all. The promotional team is in such an incredibly tough position to build trust with a strong following of fans, and I think it's something that Garry really wants to turn around, starting with simple changes to the at-track experience for the returning public.
Definitely you'll be able to bring chairs into the pits as long as you don't sit in front of somebody else that doesn't have a chair. Like if you've got chairs, sit back further so people can see. Yeah, that's and absolutely we're going to let people, from when we open the front gates, they can all go down into the pits, talk to the drivers, get autographs, get posters, buy apparel off the drivers if they want to. Then we clear the pits around sort of 4 to 4:30, and then they go up into the spectator area, and then that way, if like kids are a little bit tired sometimes by the time Speedway finishes, they can't really enjoy the experience of going down and sitting in a race car, or, you know, having the drivers talk to them as much, because some of them won't be there, they'll be gone off or whatever, or they've gone home. So I just think it's much better at the start of the night. They can still go in after the race for sure, but to let them go down at the start of the night, to me, is very important.
A lot of our audience is from Sydney and pays attention to Sydney Speedway and the happenings here in Sydney. a lot of them have been asking our social media channels what's happening with tickets and a website. Do you want to explain where all that's at?
Yeah, the website's been very slow because it's being built in America basically. It's My Race Pass, which is something that we wanted to do so people can go on their apps and find out about all about the drivers, and it's pretty advanced. When the website hits, it'll be fantastic, but unfortunately it's taken longer again because we've been concentrating more effort on getting the track right to the way we think it should be, and getting everything else around the venue fixed. And unfortunately the social media and the website side of it has actually taken a back seat.
What will it cost to attend the new, revamped Sydney International Speedway?
It'll cost you $40 to get in the gate for a general adult. Kids under 12 accompanied by an adult are free. Pensioners will be, like seniors, will be $30. And a pit upgrade, if you want to get into the pits, will cost you $50. And then you have to buy, if you don't have a Speedway Australia licence, you've got to get your day licence, which costs you another $20.
Streaming has become a huge part of dirt track racing, both here and in New Zealand, in the States. Will there be a streaming service involved, or is that a future plan for you guys?
That again is a future thing. Our main aim at the moment is to get the gates open. And you know, I love streaming and I think it's a major part of it, and we will have it, but we won't have it for the first couple of events.
A lot of our audience has been asking about whether some of the seating will be covered like it has been in the past with some shade sails that were since removed. Will any of the seating be covered?
Not to start with. Unfortunately, we just can't to start with. All the front seats are reasonably shaded in the afternoon, but I mean that differs from different times of the year naturally as the sun moves around.
Yeah.
But like, we would love to have more shaded areas, but at the moment we just got to go with what we've got, and that's what we got.
The Speedway wasn't built with the inclusion of a big screen. Will there be a big screen at all?
We're looking at it for the future, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's another essential thing for a good speedway to have a big screen, but they're all costs, and we don't have a lot to spend at the moment.
A vital part of seeing this place succeed is ensuring there are proper major events that are worth turning up for, not just by the fans, but by the competitors too. You want lots of fans, you have to have a solid show. What creates a solid show? The best competition and entertainment. What makes the best competitors turn up and creates the best entertainment? Well, you need a racing surface that drivers and teams know that they can race well on, and you need to keep up to date with the expenses and prize money of going racing. Garry had some strong thoughts, starting with my question of whether or not there'd be nomination fees.
Absolutely not. There will be no nomination fee. We don't expect the people that are putting on the show to pay for the show. We think that you should get your money through the front gate, not the back gate.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that way of thinking. How has the track changed since you guys took it over? I know we spoke about it on the practice night and we've covered that in a previous video, but from your perspective, how has it changed before the practice night and since the practice night a couple of weeks ago?
Well, before the practice night, we've spent days and weeks and a lot of money to completely re-profile the entire track.
Okay.
We've changed all the angles everywhere. We've now got 2 straights and 2 corners, whereas before it was more of just a circle. We've banked it right to the wall, so that before you could only go within like 7 metres of the wall. If you were closer than 7 metres, you were basically in the wall. So now you should be able to smash the back wheel off the wall and not have a problem.
What will prize money pay for sprint cars? I know you guys are probably in a tough position where you've taken over a speedway that's financially tough to run to start with, and then you've got the top division of speedway, which we focus on, sprint car racing.
Yeah.
Prize money there. How do you balance, a reasonable amount for prize money?
Well, we sort of don't balance a reasonable amount at the moment. At the moment, we've basically just gone with what everybody was getting last year.
Sure.
And we haven't been able to afford to change that at this stage. I mean, as we get sponsors and we get other people to come in and can get involved, then we would love to put some big dollar races on in the very near future.
A lot of our audience is also asking about bike racing. I know the facility was built with the intention of including bike racing, but the previous management, I guess yourselves, don't come with a bike racing background. What do you guys think about including bike racing here at Sydney Speedway?
We'd love to include bike racing here. Like, we'd love to have, say, a midget 50 lapper and bikes all at the same event. I mean, it would be our goal to try and do that. But at the moment, again, it's just we want to start. We want to get the gates open, get started, and make the real bit work.
There were reports after the practice night about the track, I think, being worn down with maybe not enough clay. Is that something that you guys actually did realise? That I know those were really just rumours at that stage, but is that something that you guys have actually had to deal with? And if so, what are you guys doing about it?
Yeah, the clay was a bit thin between turns 1 and 2. We've put more clay in there now, and we've got more clay coming to put in it to keep topping it up.
Yep.
And make it better and better.
What are your plans once this season finishes? I guess the 4 scheduled events that you have towards the end of this, well, really almost starting into the winter. What are your plans heading into the 2024-2025 season?
We're just trying to finish the year off firstly and do those 4 events. There could be other events put in there as well. In between, there could be other practice nights, and I want to try and fit as many categories as I can in before the end of the season, so that they actually get to come and experience and have a run here at the track, because you know, there's a lot of people that haven't been able to run here as yet, and we want to try and make that happen.